kind of talk about the weather's cause we haven't had that much real. We've had a few storms, but what temperature wise, it hasn't been that bad yet. What it normally is for January, and that's an impact even on heating season. Are things kind of turning out well as far as you kind of matching people with heating opportunities this season? I'll ask both of you to answer that.
So I guess, yes, from our perspective, it's the one saving grace in what could otherwise have been a perfect storm. And we hope that the milder weather conditions do continue. Because as we shared with you before, Sean, there's a tremendous reduction for those individuals, low to moderate income individuals who rely on the Home Energy Assistance Program to provide support for their program. So what we've seen this winter is more and more people turning to us, even with the somewhat warmer temperatures, in emergency situations. And I'm pleased to say that one of the things that we've been able to do this year is improve our customer service and our response time on those. So we used to have, in some cases, over 200 emergency calls in the queue that it would take us a really significant amount of time to get through. But I'm very proud of our team that were ending most days and most weeks within only a couple of days before callbacks on sort of as an outlier. So it's really, I think from that perspective, process improvement internally, even though we're serving more customers and the benefit is different, it's very much a mixed bag, but something that I remain very concerned about in terms of, because we have a lot more winter to go, and I know that Sarah does as well.
Sarah?
Yeah, I think last year was definitely a learning year for us. And we really have learned how to make the program smoother and really collaborate with other organizations. That was something new we did. We partnered with ACAP. United Way and ACAP held some forums in Fort Kent, Fulton, and Presque Isle, and met with the faith-based community and other organizations to see how can we funnel people to the same place, how can we have the same scripts, so if somebody is in an emergency situation, everybody knows how to deal with it. And I think we're seeing positive results, and we've started a bi-weekly session where we're checking in just to bring up any concerns, monitor so we don't miss anybody, and make sure that everybody is, making sure everybody is first accessing the federal dollars, and then we're going to the emergency dollars to make those emergency dollars stretch and last longer.
Speaking of dollars and federal, I'm sure both of you know that our Maine Senator Susan Collins has now been named the chair for the Appropriations Committee, which is an incredibly important committee. I like to call it the Money Committee because it kind of she will have the say so, or one of the leading say so's of what dollars are going to allocated to various programs and to states and things like that. Do you think that's a plus as far as for both of your agencies, and what money could be trickled and funneled down to us here in Aroostook County to help people in need?
Well, I think first and foremost, it's a definite plus. I mean, Senator Collins is the chair of, as you indicated, the Appropriations Committee. In her role as the ranking Republican in recent years, her impact on the community has extended even further than it has been throughout her legislative career. She's always been a champion for Maine, for Aroostook County in particular. But if you look around our community at some of the improvements that have come through congressionally directed spending as a result of the really support and championing of Senator Collins in Augusta, you see projects like we're going to be rolling out a mobile service unit in the spring, which was made through congressionally directed spending, which comes from lessons learned during the pandemic, when we were actually better able to connect customers to service because transportation wasn't an impediment. Everything went over the phone, right? Mm-hmm. But the detriment to that, although we were able to connect customers more quickly and without those transportation challenges, is that part of what we do as an agency is when we meet with customers, we're able to assess them. And part of that assessment is to be able to, to lay eyes on them and to be able to have a conversation with them so you can assess things like food security and other areas that United Way and community partners are really working to try to remediate side by side with ACAP and others. So that's important. So a project like that, through the support of Senator Collins, and I'm going to let Sarah talk about it, another very exciting one that United Way is spearheading, that Senator Collins was instrumental in as well.
Oh, it sounds like a scoop, and you guys know how much I love scoops, Sarah.
Yes, we're very appreciative of Senator Collins and very excited for her new position. as well as thankful for Senator King and Congressman Golden's support. We have officially hired somebody for the Aroostook County Child Care Resource Center. So we have a Child Care Resource Center director now. Her name is Melanie Tompkins, and she'll be starting next week to start working with providers and stabilizing the child care workforce. And so we're very excited, but we're also very thankful that there was a CDS grant that was put forward by Collins and King that we're just waiting to hear on to help enhance that program.
Yeah, I would be remiss in saying that as a whole, the entire congressional delegation, we have access to their ears and to their hearts, and for them championing because they recognize and realize what the realities are here in Aroostook County. That would be the entire delegation. I think it's great that we have that opportunity and access to them on a regular basis.
And we're going to continue, Sean, really to see the benefits of that, like across Aroostook County. There will be a brand new public safety building that will be broken ground for in Van Buren in the spring. There's, of course, the airport here in Presque Isle. There's the improvements that are going to be done to sidewalks and cityscapes in Holton and in historic Market Square. So these projects, and there's projects like that across the state of Maine that Senator Collins, Senator King, Congressman Golden have championed, and so certainly appreciative to the delegation.
It's interesting you kind of touched on that, which is the follow-up question about obviously different communities and how important is collaboration, not just, I mean, clearly the collaboration that your two organizations or agencies have, it's clearly working, but just collaborating with various other organizations and groups and entities and communities outside of PI.
I think for us, it's huge. I mean, we're both of our organizations are countywide organizations. And just, as an example, I put out a communication to our staff and our board of directors this morning about two developments that are of significance to our community that are looking at some of the greatest challenges we're facing right now. So in both terms of housing, the housing shortage and the childcare shortage in our community, one of the areas that we're working right now and we've begun the exploratory work on is I was at the Caribou Planning Board last night to gain preliminary approval for conversion of our early care and education center there to 15 housing units, affordable housing units, market rate housing units for young professionals, 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. Perhaps some seniors will take them as well. That would be an opportunity that we're going to be applying for funding for Maine Housing. The project would move forward if we receive funding. If we don't, it doesn't. But as a result of that, or because of our efforts to be able to do that, we've been having conversations with public schools across Aroostook County about exploring what's called the community schools concept, which is being pioneered right now in Skowhegan, where, to Sarah's point about helping to solve the childcare crisis, you embed a program like ACAP's Early Care and Education Services right in a public school. And in some cases in Aroostook County, we have public elementary schools that are larger. They were built for larger populations. In other communities, they're going to be building new schools within the next decade or so, and we're asking to be involved and at the table and in conversations with all of those communities about opportunities. And then that provides us the opportunity where we have a brick and mortar footprint, like at the Early Care and Education Center in Caribou, or eventually at our Early Care and Education Centers right outside the door here with me of Gouldville, to be able to transform those particular buildings into housing, which are ideally set up for it. The size of a classroom is about the size of an apartment. And when we're talking about early care and education classrooms, there's typically plumbing for a bathroom, a full bathroom in those classrooms. So conversion, relatively speaking, is not like converting some building that's not very well equipped for housing. And so the exciting opportunity to be able to do things like that and to be able to look beyond sort of the traditional services and programs that we've been offered, but to bring community partners to the table, right? Because it happens across Aroostook County this year. We're very fortunate. It sort of happened by chance that we looked at our board of directors, and as we were recruiting new board members, we said we really have a good number from Central Aroostook. We need more from the southern and the northern parts, and we brought on 5 great new board members from northern and southern Aroostook this year that we're really excited about. So it is the entirety of the county that we're looking at when we think about what we're going to do to transform services.
We're going to get to some of the other programs really quickly, but I just want to kind of do a follow-up. I know last year, spring, summer, you had a visiting delegation, a visiting, I guess, ACAP kind of affiliation from Minnesota came, and they wanted to maybe replicate the success that you've had here in Aroostook County. Have you heard from them, and what's the feedback with that?
Yes, I continue actually on a monthly basis to mentor their executive director. We have weekly touch bases, Sonia Gass and I. We also have, we had two other agencies that came in. One drove in from northern Vermont, northeastern Vermont, the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. And an executive director came from in Kansas City, the Kansas City CAP agency. So specifically, though there have been continued partnerships with Minnesota as well as Northeastern Kingdom of Vermont, we actually sent a delegation of 5, including a parent in our early care and education programs, and we were the program for their agency day at the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. So our team did a panel discussion, and then we did breakout sessions. I joined them remotely in the afternoon, where we had our management team connect with their management team and talk about how our whole family transformation work is changing lives here in Aroostook County, and they're working on their continued transformation. So we continue to mentor those agencies. In addition to that, and I can share, I know how you like to break news, but I will do that with you. I'll give you a scoop right now, that Sherry Locke and I will be heading to the National Management and Leadership Training Conference at the end of the month of January in New Orleans, where we will be accepting our silver designation as a silver CAP agency in the nation. There's only 10% of agencies across the nation that have excellence designation. Yeah, yes, indeed. A couple of years ago, we received bronze designation, and we've been working since towards silver designation. We'll receive that. But we'll also be presenting at that conference about our excellence work, actually. And so excited about that. And then I'll be presenting at the New England CAP conference in Burlington, Vermont at the end of April.
All right. Well, we like scoops, certainly. That's probably, yeah, we're very excited. Congratulations. I'm not surprised about that, but congratulations either way. Sarah, tell us a little bit about, I guess, first of all, you've got some really important community events coming up. You've got, one that I say is a refined and elegant opportunity, but it's a great way to give back as well. Talk about what's coming up in February.
Yeah, in February, we have our United Way of Aroostook Black Tie Gala on February 8th at the Legacy Event and Ranch. Tickets are on sale now, and you can buy a table, you can buy a ticket, bring all your friends. We will also be having a live auction that night to help raise funds. We are launching the Hope Fund that night. It's a new fund that we are raising money for, and this is for children that come from low-income families that might not have opportunities that a lot of other kids have. So they can apply to the Hope Fund directly, and every month we'll determine who gets awarded kind of scholarship money from this fund maybe it's a rec program, maybe it's Girl Scouts, maybe they need something for technology for their education. Just small gifts that we'll be able to give to help give children more opportunities in our community.
Small at all. Don't undersell it. Huge.
No, I'm very excited for that.
Impact, huge in the fact of the impact that you're going to be making, and that this fund will be having on so many people, and because it's those, we know that those are the experiences that help children feel like they have a quality childhood. And when you go without that, you feel the effects of that later on, that you didn't have access to that. So that's amazing. Congrats.
Yeah, and then our applications are just going out for our next round of strategic investment. And on top of that, there will be a couple other funds. Wheels to Work, Thriving for our community will be a fund that will do car repairs. People can apply for if they need a car repair that's preventing them from going to work, registration, inspection, or maybe they just need some transportation help with a taxi or a bus fare.
Look how you guys are filling needs. I love it.
So the Wheels to Work will be launching July 1st, as well as our response fund. And this is going to be an emergency response fund for our partners and for any nonprofit organization that might need a pantry, might have a freezer go, and they don't have any funds to be able to replace the freezer. We'll be able to step in and help with that that fund as well. So a really big change in our funding structure, but a really exciting time to be able to make more impact in Aroostook County.
What's really great about that, Sean, is that
Mhm.
it's United Way being responsive and working with the community partners, because
Yes.
it's all of those things where people are falling through the cracks, where there aren't programs, there aren't existing programs that receive funding to be able to do those things. And so Sarah and the board of directors at United Way have really spent a considerable amount of time listening to the community, revising their strategic plan, and making very smart decisions about how do we meet the unmet needs of Aroostook County and not duplicate services. And so it's been really inspiring to sort of partner with Sarah and to partner with United Way over the last year in particular, as they've gone through this metamorphosis, and now they're putting into practice some of the things that they did in their strategic planning session a year ago. Because it's really starting to make an impact. We've seen it in partnering with Sarah on the heating front, and on the leading work that Sarah has done on the childcare resource center, which we're so excited about opening up soon, having open up soon, and so there's a really lot of exciting things happening, despite the fact that we're all sort of facing, the post-pandemic shift
Right.
of funds receding and things of that nature. I think this is a really interesting model, and a really appropriate model that we're adopting here in Aroostook County under Sarah and the United Way's leadership. So I'm glad to have the opportunity to partner with them, because they really did take into account the needs of the people of Aroostook County, and listening to where those were being unmet in
Both
this
of your
new
agencies
strategy.
are. You think it's exciting to announce it? It's exciting to hear and know that these are concrete actual programs that are really going to be impacting people in a positive way. You are actually going to work and changing, you and your staff going to work every day and changing lives. That's amazing. We got to wrap this up really quickly, but if those what opportunities heat wise, like you said, mentioned earlier, Jason, we still have a little bit of ways of winter to go. If anyone's seeing that, is there a way that they can apply, or what can they do to access resources if they're finding that they're in need over the next few months, as we eventually hopefully make it into spring?
So the really good part about it is that through our website, you can get to a link if you want to do an online application for the traditional heating assistance program. And as Sarah and I have discussed, that's really the sustaining program, even though the funds have the benefit has gone down, because the number of people accessing the program has gone up, especially in the last 4 years. That's the way to sort of get locked into the program, and to say, okay, then there's some stability in supplementing my heating costs over the course of any given winter. Certainly, if folks are in an emergency, we ask that they do call us. As Sarah indicated, we're going to first work to help them access the federal program. If they can't, that's where donor dollars come in. That's where dollars from a couple of telethons that are held statewide and locally here support our efforts, and other donors that just make private gifts, and foundations and the like that support folks. There's never enough, unfortunately, of those dollars to fully meet the need. So what we're doing on the sort of on that side of things is we do prioritize those who are at risk for becoming hypothermic and potentially freezing in their homes. And those are typically the elderly and families with young children under the age of 6. Not that we're not helping other folks in between, but as we get through the season and resources dwindle, we really try to prioritize those households. So cost of living challenges, and program that folks are relying on, not seeing as much of an allocation, certainly as they were during the pandemic, and even before at this point, are the challenges. But where we've, I think, really found our stride this year is in the coming together, the bringing the voices together, encouraging folks out there, by the way, Sarah mentioned it earlier, to join in that call, to reach out to either ACAP or United Way if you're not already on that list. There's a bi-weekly meeting or every other week meeting. We held one this past Tuesday at 1:00, so it won't be this coming Tuesday, it'll be the one after that. So that would be the 21st of January at 1:00, where we invite community, municipal representatives, faith-based leaders, fellow social service agencies, anyone or even individuals who are working with individuals in communities that might turn to them for assistance with fuel or other matters, to come into that session so we can hear in real time what's going on, boots on the ground.
Right.
We tend to hear it at the end of the season. Oh, this particular community really had a shortage of, there were people going without fuel more so in this particular area of the county or not. That's why we need to hear it in real time so that we can course correct as need be in the heating season, not just ahead of the next one.
All right, Sarah, really quickly, anything coming up that you want to, just any deadlines or dates or things or applications people need to fill out if they want resources from you?
Yes, for organizations that are applying for emergency food and shelter program, those applications are due the 19th, and people have until April for our strategic investment.
All right. Congratulations on the success, you guys, and what you're doing here in our community. And obviously, the accolades that you're receiving nationwide, but we already knew you guys were rock stars anyway. This is just confirmation of that. We so appreciate you. Let's do this again real soon. Thank you for guesting.
Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.